guys, welcome to another Fiddly Bits episode. You may have noticed I haven't put out a video in a little while, and there's a couple of reasons for that. The first one is we had a couple of weeks of kind of cold weather, and it was a little too cold in the shop to work. So I've been doing a lot inside, mostly CAD work. I've been developing a couple products just to test out a couple things to sell. They've been doing pretty well. You may remember the lathe stops. I've sold basically one a day since I first listed them about a month ago. But another problem I had is that my graphics card on my computer, my main computer died, my good computer. There was about a week there where I wasn't able to do hardly anything on the computer, including edit videos or do any CAD work at all. So during that period, I just sort of started cleanup, some spring cleanups. So after all that, I then had another problem. And you may have heard that there's this pandemic going around. But it's not the pandemic you're thinking of. It's the pandemic of nosy neighbors. And I admittedly am not the neatest person, but I try to keep anything that people can see, out of sight. I have a neighbor behind me that's not been there very long. She decided she didn't like the look of something in my yard, and she let the government in the backyard. Well, the consequence of that is that the neighbors to the left and the right of her have already put up privacy fences. Because there's this thing called outside storage that you're not allowed to have. And from what I understand, I have a friend of mine who went through a similar problem, and it's not even a urban or rural thing now. It's everywhere. Basically, it means if you have anything that's outside and somebody sees it, well, they have the right to complain about it. That's the way I look at it. To me, mind your own damn business, and don't let the government in your backyard. I got a couple stickers in. Just want to go through them quick. First is from Shark River Machine. If you're watching my videos, you're probably familiar with Shark River Machine. Stephen Lang over there does some great educational videos. I believe that he's a retired machinist. I may be wrong about that, and I apologize if I am. But he also has an Atlas. He has the, I think his is a 42-inch model, but he has the quick change gearbox, which is very handy. I've been watching a lot of his videos on the Atlas. He also has some great videos about precision ground stones. So check him out, Shark River Machine, if you haven't already. And I am getting a sticker board that is part of the lathe and shop makeover that is still in progress. I haven't got a lot done. I have nothing to show you, unfortunately. Put some shelves up, did some more cleaning, working on some gears, but like I said, it's been a little chilly. It's beautiful here today. The other stickers that I got was from Stevie GTR. Stevie is in Leeds in England, and he has some interesting videos as well. He's got a little garage shop, and he's got a lot of tour videos that are very interesting. He's got some interesting machines. He just did a Quill DRO on his milling machine, and he actually used the same DRO that I have on mine. So that was kind of interesting, and basically they connected up the same, and I think his is a little more accurate than mine. But he's a smaller channel, Stevie GTR, check him out. Also got a new purchase for the Atlas. I put a chuck in my watch listing on eBay, and the seller came back and offered it to me at a price that I could not refuse. And it is brand new, 5-inch 4-jaw, independent adjusting 4-jaw, obviously. And we'll get rid of that right away. Oh man, they really put that spring on there. We don't need that. It looks pretty good, actually. I've seen several of these. Man, it's covered in stuff. See, I haven't even taken it out yet. Basically, guys, this was $75. I'm pretty pleased with it. Everything looks pretty good. The jaws look really nice. I still need to get a back plate for it. It's basically the same sort of back plate that I made in the last video, and it's just a little bigger, and it has to fit my machine, which is the Atlas is 1 1/8 by 8, I believe. pretty good looking chuck for $75. Obviously it's not a buck chuck or a Cushman, and it's a little bit smaller than the one that I have. So yeah, it's 5 inches, and this is a total of 6 inches. So this is my old 6-inch chuck, and obviously there's a little bit of a size difference all the way around. But I have a little problem with this 6-inch, and I talked about this problem in the last video, but I showed it, the problem, in many videos ago, because I knew that this chuck had this problem. And let me show you exactly what it is. Make sure we got the right jaw there. So this jaw, you see this movement, and the reason it has that movement is, so as you can see in here, it's chipped out along this edge of the T-slot. It's okay for certain things, but it's just not, it's not reliable, and at some point, you know, it could get unsafe. So we're going to retire it from the lathe. I may try to fix this. If anybody has any ideas, I thought about brazing this up and then recutting the slot. My problem there is that it's so difficult to get into this gap. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but like I said, if anybody's ever tried anything like this before, it is a big chunk, so it would all have to be heated up. And at any rate, if anybody has any ideas about that, let me know. This side as well. The rest of them are pretty normal. They have a little bit of rock in them. This one has just a little bit. I think it's got a little section that's chipped out. So I knew that when I bought this chuck. I got it really cheap. It's a 6-inch Cushman, which would be in a really expensive chuck if it didn't have this problem. And obviously you can see somebody's cut this thing up, but that's why I got this one to replace it. This is going to do most of what I need to do anyway, so it's either going to become a welding positioner chuck, or I might try to fix it. And like I say, if anybody has any ideas, let me know. So once I get a chance to use this guy, I'll probably do a little review on it, see how good it is. You know, a cheapest chuck on eBay review was less than $80, and that included shipping. And if you've priced chucks lately, they have gone up like everything else. So before my graphics card crashed, and I have fixed that problem, by the way, obviously, because you're watching this video, I started making these guys. These are versions of, this is the metal part, and what these do is they go in the change gears and are a bushing for the change gears. So they go into the change gears, they're really tight. There it is. And then this is the arbor for the change gears, and then the gear spins on it. So I've made these out of a material called PETG. The normal material for 3D printing, the most, probably 90% of what you see out there of 3D printed stuff is made with a material called PLA. PLA is good. It's a great material. It's fairly strong, but it doesn't have certain qualities that this part I thought would need. Specifically, this can take more heat, it is resistant to a lot of chemicals, and it has good wear properties. So probably this is, I don't want to say is as good as this, Jesus. Probably this is as good as the Zamek original, at least as good as it's going to get for plastics. I would love to do some destructive testing, but I don't want to destructive test my original Zamek parts for my Atlas lathe. So not going to be able to do that, but I can pretty much tell you that this stuff is pretty tough. It has a little bit of give to it, but it will not break as easy as your normal plastics. It's not necessarily as tough as nylon, but it's stiffer than nylon. So if you know 3D printing, there's tons and tons of different formulations of filament out there, and this one I've been experimenting with and had good luck with it yet. Now, I haven't had time to test it out on the machine. I am selling these really cheap for 3 of them. And the reason I'm selling them so cheap is because I want some customer feedback on them to see how they work. And I have hand fitted every one of these so they fit just like the originals. That means I have to run each one through a gear and each one through the arbor. You see how that's as tight on there as the original Zamek is. But each one goes through the arbor, and they will fit a little tight on the arbor and they will wear in. Just like the originals are really tight slip fit. So there's not any give in them whatsoever. I'm basing this off of my machines. So I'm basically saying how mine fit, that's how I'm making these fit, which is pretty snug. Going in here, I would say this is almost force, it's like a force fit. If you get it just right, it goes right in, just like that. So if there's anybody out there with an Atlas that would like to test these, let me know, and I'll send you some for free, at least initially. If you see this a couple years down the line, you know, let me know. We'll see if I'm still making them. Also been testing out some gears in 3D, just the mesh of them and making sure that everything is correct there. But like I said, the problem I had with the ones that I had printed was the tolerances in here. When you print with a 3D printer, you know, you're squeezing out hot. It's almost like a hot glue gun, basically. And depending on how much that squeeze out, how much your machine is calibrated to squeeze out, has a lot of influence on how big, especially inner holes are. Because there's a bit of expansion or contraction. You have to kind of calibrate your file or your settings to your machine so that you get the proper dimensions. It's a little more tricky with precision parts like that, but it can be done. It's a little bit more work, but it can be done. Once you get those settings set up right for your printer, if you're using the same materials and the same nozzle and everything else is set up the same, you pretty much are going to get the same consistent results. So there we go, guys. Just wanted to do a quick little video here, get back in the groove of making videos after a little month of a layoff for various reasons. And I'll just leave this video off to a message to my neighbor. See you next time. Thanks for watching.